Hey, before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss this. Okay, so picture this, a young widow just trying to raise her 7-year-old son, walking into her normal workday. Life's already tough, bills, school, and keeping her head above water. But that morning, she sees an older man struggling to clean a huge, grimy window outside the building. Everyone else just walks past, but she can't. She steps in to help, not thinking twice. Little did she know, this one simple act of kindness was about to put her job on the line, stir rumors, and completely flip her world upside down. And trust me, you'll never guess who that man really is. Hold tight, because this is where her life was about to be flipped upside down. The city was still waking up when Anna stepped out of her tiny apartment, her coat pulled tight around her shoulders. She held Tim's hand gently as they walked down the narrow street towards school. Tim, just 7, carried his little backpack and tried to act confident, like a grown-up, but every now and then he looked up at her with wide, worried eyes. Anna smiled at him, soft and tired. Life had been a quiet storm ever since her husband passed 2 years ago, leaving her to raise Tim alone. She worked hard, not because she loved work, but because she loved her son more. Breakfast had been simple, toast, a bit of fruit, and a hurried cup of coffee. Anna kissed him on the forehead, reminding him to stay safe at school. He waved, ran ahead, and she felt the familiar pang of longing and fear. She whispered a small prayer for him as he disappeared into the school gate, then started walking toward her job at Bright Tower, the large cleaning company downtown. Her job was ordinary, predictable, and tiring, but she liked it. As the receptionist, she was the first face people saw when entering the building. She answered calls, guided visitors, and filed reports. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and it helped her keep a roof over their heads. Anna believed strongly in kindness. She always tried to treat people with respect, whether they were cleaners, supervisors, or strangers passing by. She believed kindness mattered, even if no one noticed. That morning, something felt different. The wind was sharper than usual, and people around her walked quickly, their faces tense and distracted. As Anna approached the company entrance, she noticed a man in a gray hoodie sweeping leaves. His movements were slow, his hands trembling slightly. There was nothing remarkable about him, yet something in the way he carried himself made her pause. "Good morning," Anna said softly, stepping closer. The man looked up, his eyes tired but gentle. "Morning," he replied quietly. Anna hesitated, then asked, "Do you want some help?" Before he could answer, a sharp voice cut across the entrance. "What are you doing, Anna?" It was Mrs. Gray, the floor supervisor. Her shoes clicked loudly against the pavement, her face tight with irritation. Anna turned, startled. I'm just helping him," Anna said softly. "He looks tired. This is not your job. You do not speak to cleaners during work hours. Move inside immediately," Mrs. Gray snapped. Anna looked back at the man. He smiled faintly, a quiet understanding in his eyes that made her heart skip. She obeyed, stepping inside, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something unusual was happening. Inside, the office buzzed with whispers. Rumors had spread like wildfire about mysterious new CEO arriving that day. Some said he liked to test employees, watching them quietly to see who was kind and who was not. Others said he fired people without warning. Fear floated through the hallways like a shadow, touching everyone who worked there. Anna tried to focus on her desk, answering calls and typing reports, but her thoughts kept drifting back to the man outside. Who was he? Why had he looked at her like that? A strange feeling of curiosity and tension grew inside her chest. Minutes later, Mrs. Gray approached, a stack of papers clutched in her hand. "Anna, follow me," she said sharply. Anna's heart thumped, but she obeyed silently. Mrs. Gray led her to the hallway near the VIP elevator. "Stay here," she ordered. "The new CEO will arrive any moment. Do not speak unless he speaks to you." Then she walked away, leaving Anna alone, her pulse racing. The elevator dinged. Out stepped the man in the gray hoodie. Anna's eyes widened. He was not outside anymore. "You're inside," she whispered. "Did someone yell at you again?" "I'm Fina. Thank you for caring," he said softly, his voice calm, gentle. Mrs. Gray appeared again, scolding him for using the elevator. But the man looked at her with quiet authority. "Is this how you speak to all workers?" Anna's chest tightened. She had acted out of kindness, and now it felt like it might have consequences. Word spread quickly. Everyone was talking about the mysterious man. Some feared him, some whispered in awe, and others watched silently, curious. Anna tried to work, but the tension was inescapable. Everyone was holding their breath, waiting. Soon, the intercom crackled to life. All staff report to the main hall immediately. Anna's stomach dropped. The last time the entire staff had been called there was when the former CEO retired. This was serious. The main hall filled slowly. Anxiety hung in the air like a thick fog. Then the side door opened. The man entered, but now his gray hoodie was gone. He wore a simple black suit. His hair was messy, but his eyes were sharp, commanding attention. The room fell silent. The whispers stopped. Every gaze turned toward him. "I came in disguise today," he said, his voice calm but firm, "to see how employees treat each other. Not how they treat a CEO, but how they treat a human being." Gasps echoed through the hall. Anna's heart pounded. The man's gaze found hers. "This woman helped me today. She treated me like a human being. Imagine helping someone and not knowing they hold the keys to your future." That's exactly what happened to Anna. Her kindness saved her and reminded us all that how we treat others, even when no one is watching, truly matters. The staff froze. Mrs. Gray's face turned pale. "Ben," this man pointed at Anna. "She stays. You do not." Security escorted Mrs. Gray away, and Anna felt a strange mix of relief and disbelief. She didn't fully understand what had just happened, but she knew that her small act of kindness had changed everything. Later, in a quiet room, Ben faced Anna privately. "You treated me like a human being when I was just a cleaner," he said softly. "You didn't see a title. You didn't see a CEO. You saw a person. That is rare. That is precious." Anna's cheeks warmed. "I didn't do anything special," she said softly. "You did," Ben said, smiling. "And because of that, your voice matters here. Your presence matters. You matter." Anna's chest swelled with emotion. Relief, pride, and joy collided inside her. She finally understood that sometimes the simplest acts, compassion, courage, and empathy, can ripple farther than we imagine. She smiled softly, looking at him. "I just wanted to do the right thing." Ben nodded. "And you did. That is the most powerful thing anyone can do. How do you treat people when no one is watching? Could one small act of kindness change your life?" She shook his hand, a quiet understanding passing between them. She knew her life had changed forever. Anna returned to her desk, her hands still trembling slightly. The office felt different now, quieter, but heavy with whispers. People glanced at her in secret, some with curiosity, others with something harder, envy or disbelief. She tried to focus on her work, answering calls and filing papers, but her mind kept drifting back to the man she had helped. Ben. That was his name. He had smiled at her in a way that made her feel seen. Truly seen. It was strange, almost impossible, for someone so important to notice a lowly receptionist, a woman who simply did her job and tried to be kind. But he had, and that thought filled her with both warmth and fear. Mrs. Gray was gone, but her absence made a different kind of tension hang in the air. The remaining supervisors moved more cautiously, their whispers sharper, their stares longer. They glanced at Anna sometimes, perhaps wondering if she would be favored by the new CEO. Some people whispered, "She's the one he trusts. Watch her. She might rise fast." Anna's stomach churned. She didn't want power. She didn't want attention. She just wanted to do her job, care for Tim, and live quietly. Yet, somehow she was caught in something bigger than herself. During her lunch break, she stepped outside to get some air. The city's hum pressed against her, but for the first time in years, she felt a spark of hope. She thought about the old man in the hoodie, about the way he had looked at her, about the gentle weight of his gaze. And she wondered, why would a man like that even test people like this? Wasn't it cruel? Or was it fair? Back in the office, the tension simmered. Workers whispered about the CEO in disguise. Cleaners exchanged nervous glances, some wondering if they had unknowingly been tested too. Gossip spread. "He watches everything. Don't make mistakes. I heard he fires fast." Someone said he notices kindness more than skill. Fear, curiosity, and admiration mixed together in a strange, electric way. Anna focused on her phone. Tim had texted her a drawing he made that morning, a little sun with a smiling face. She smiled faintly, holding it to her chest. Maybe she thought the world could be a little kinder if more people saw each other like that. The day moved slowly, stretching each hour like elastic. Then came the announcement over the speakers. All staff, please assemble in the main hall for a brief message from the CEO. Anna's heart raced. She had been through this once already, and she felt the tension coil inside her like a spring ready to snap. She walked to the hall quietly, taking a deep breath. When she arrived, the hall was full. Everyone was murmuring, glancing around nervously. Some cleaners stood stiffly, uncertain if they were being watched. Supervisors tried to look composed, but the fear was visible in their hands, their eyes. Then the side door opened, and there he was, Ben. The man in the black suit, calm, composed, radiating quiet authority. The room fell silent immediately. Whispers stopped. Gasps hovered in the air. I came here today, he said, his voice steady, to see how people treat one another. Not how they treat a CEO, but how they treat human beings. His eyes swept over the room, and when they landed on Anna, something soft and warm shone in them. This woman helped me when she thought I was just a cleaner. She treated me like a human being. The room froze. Anna felt her heart pound. She didn't move. She couldn't move. Because of her, Ben continued, she will remain here. She will be trusted. She will be respected. She matters. Anna blinked, overwhelmed. The room erupted into whispers, some amazed, some stunned. People stared at her as if seeing her for the first time. Ben looked around the hall, his gaze quiet and steady. Kindness, he said, is more important than fear. More important than rules. More important than titles. Anna's chest tightened. She couldn't believe what was happening. She had simply done what felt right, and now it had changed everything. Later, Ben asked Anna to join him in a quiet office. She followed, still shaky. He closed the door behind them. You treated me like a human being when I was just a cleaner, he said softly. You didn't see a title. You saw a person. That is rare. That is precious. Anna swallowed hard. I didn't do anything special, she whispered. Yes, you did, Ben said. And because of that, your voice matters here. Your presence matters. You matter. Anna's eyes filled with tears. Relief, joy, and pride washed over her in a wave she hadn't felt in years. She finally understood that sometimes courage and kindness mattered more than any skill, any rule, any title. She shook his hand, a quiet understanding passing between them. And though the office outside still buzzed with whispers and tension, Anna knew her life had changed forever. The next morning, the sunlight felt warmer somehow, though Anna still walked to work with the same careful pace. Tim had waved goodbye at the school gate, holding his little backpack tight, and she had whispered another prayer for him. But today, something had shifted in her chest. A quiet excitement mingled with fear. Yesterday's events replayed in her mind, the gray hoodie, the kind eyes, the calm voice that had made the whole office tremble in silence. As she entered Bright Tower, whispers circled her like a low hum. People glanced quickly, then looked away. Some smiled, hesitant. Others avoided her gaze entirely. Anna tried to ignore it, keeping her head down and moving toward her desk. She had work to do, and she preferred quiet over attention. The cleaners she passed nodded shyly. One of them, a young man named Joe, stopped briefly. Miss Anna, he whispered, thank you for yesterday. His eyes were full of genuine admiration. Anna smiled softly. It's nothing. Just do your job well and treat people right. That's enough. Mrs. Gray was still absent. Rumor had it she had been escorted out permanently, though no one wanted to talk about it openly. Her absence was like a shadow lifted from the office. Yet without her, the remaining supervisors were tense, as though walking on fragile glass. Their eyes flickered toward Anna more than before, curious and uncertain. The day passed slowly. Every task felt heavier, not because of the work, but because of the watchful eyes and unspoken attention she carried. People whispered at every turn, do you think the CEO trusts her? She'll rise fast. She's the one who stayed calm while others were scared. Anna's heart thumped uneasily. She didn't want power. She didn't want attention. She just wanted to do her job, care for Tim, and live quietly. But she couldn't deny the change, the subtle, electric shift in the office, like the air had been stirred by a wind she hadn't seen coming. During her lunch break, she sat alone in the small courtyard, the city's hum pressing gently against her ears. She took out her phone and looked at Tim's last text, a small drawing of his son smiling, with the words, "I love you, Mom." A soft warmth spread through her chest. Maybe kindness really did matter. Maybe, even in a world that often seemed harsh and uncaring, it could ripple out quietly, unseen but powerful. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. It was a short message from Ben. "Good morning, Anna. Hope today treats you kindly." Anna froze for a moment, then smiled softly. A CEO sending a message to a receptionist? It was surreal, almost impossible. Yet, it carried no arrogance, no demand, just a simple, quiet acknowledgement. As the afternoon wore on, the office buzzed with more rumors. Some workers whispered about the new CEO's strange approach, disguises, tests, observing kindness over skill. Others marveled quietly at Anna's composure, how she had handled herself yesterday. No one wanted to draw attention to her directly, but every glance carried an unspoken acknowledgement. She had stood out. At the end of the day, Anna packed her bag slowly, listening to the soft hum of the office around her. She felt a mix of relief and anticipation, the day stretching behind her like a long shadow. Then, the elevator dinged. Ben stepped out, simple and calm, as though nothing extraordinary had happened. His eyes met hers, and she felt a strange, grounding warmth. "Anna," he said softly, "walk with me." She nodded, heart pounding, and followed him down the quiet hallway to a small office. He closed the door behind him. "You treated me yesterday like I was just a person," he said. His eyes held a quiet intensity. "Not a title. Not a CEO. Just a human being. That is rare. And that is why I trust you." Anna felt tears prick her eyes. I didn't do anything special," she whispered. "You did," he said gently. "And because of that, your voice will matter here. Your presence will matter. You matter." Anna's chest swelled, a wave of emotion she had not felt in years. Relief, pride, joy, and quiet disbelief collided inside her. She finally understood that sometimes the most courageous act is the simplest one, showing kindness when no one is watching. Ben extended his hand, and she shook it firmly. A silent understanding passed between them, unspoken but heavy with meaning. The office outside buzzed with whispers, tension, and curiosity, but in that small room, the world narrowed to that single moment. Anna's life had changed forever, not through scheming, not through manipulation, but through a simple act of humanity. And as she walked back to her desk, she felt a quiet strength she hadn't known she possessed. From now on, she would carry that strength with her, not just for herself, but for Tim, for the cleaners, and for anyone who needed someone to see them as a human being first. Weeks passed after the revelation. Life at Bright Tower settled into a new rhythm. The office was quieter in a strange way, not from fear, but from respect. Employees had learned that kindness mattered here. Cleaners moved with dignity, receptionists worked without whispers of judgment, and Anna quietly held her place at the front desk, her calm presence a steady anchor for everyone. Every morning, she still walked him to school, still whispered her little prayers for him, and still carried that quiet hope that goodness could ripple through the world. But now she felt it in the office too. People smiled at one another more often. They helped each other, even in small ways. One afternoon, Ben asked Anna to his office again. She hesitated, unsure why, but she followed him. The office was quiet, sun streaming softly through blinds. He gestured to a chair. "Anna," he began, voice gentle, "I've been thinking about yesterday and all the days before. You treated me like a human being, not a title. And that says more about you than anyone else here." Anna's cheeks warmed. "I was just doing what felt right," she said quietly. "That's exactly why you're right for this," Ben said, smiling. "I'd like you to step into a larger role here, help guide people, show them how kindness and respect matter in this company. Not as a favor to me, but as recognition of who you are." Anna's heart swelled. She wanted to speak, to thank him properly, but tears blurred her vision. She nodded slowly. I'll do my best," she whispered. Ben reached across the desk and placed his hand over hers. "I know you will. And I want you to know you've already changed this place, Anna. And in a way, you've changed me too." Anna left the office that day with a quiet sense of peace. The weight of fear, gossip, and uncertainty that had pressed on her for so long was gone. In its place was purpose, pride, and the knowledge that small acts of kindness could ripple far beyond what she could see. At home, she hugged Tim tightly. "Guess what, Tim?" she said softly. "Things are going to be okay. More than okay. They're going to be better." Tim smiled up at her, eyes bright. "Because you're kind, Mom." Anna smiled back, tears spilling over. "Because we're kind, Tim." And sometimes that's enough to change the world. And for the first time in a long time, Anna felt truly seen, truly valued, and truly at peace. The city outside buzzed with life, but inside her heart, everything was calm, full, and whole. The story of Anna teaches us a powerful truth. True greatness isn't measured by titles, money, or authority. It's measured by how we treat others, especially those who can't give us anything in return. Her simple act of kindness toward a man she thought was just a cleaner changed the course of her life. Meanwhile, those who wielded power cruelly, like Mrs. Gray, lost the respect, trust, and opportunities that could have been theirs. In life, many of us are given moments of influence at work, at home, or in our communities. Some people, like Mrs. Gray, use that power to dominate, belittle, or enforce rules without heart. Anna's story reminds us that compassion and integrity always outshine cruelty and arrogance. True power comes from lifting others up, seeing their humanity, and choosing kindness, even when it's easier to look away. The lesson is simple. How we treat people in the ordinary moments when no one is watching is what truly defines our legacy. Titles and money may open doors, but character builds lasting respect. Those who rely on fear and authority alone may gain temporary control, but they miss the deeper impact of true leadership, inspiring, nurturing, and valuing people for who they really are. Anna's quiet courage, empathy, and consistency show us that even small choices can ripple far beyond what we see. Every smile, every act of understanding, every simple gesture of kindness can transform lives in ways we never imagined. The truth is this: the world notices the heart behind your actions. Power without empathy fades. Authority without humanity is empty. But integrity, courage, and kindness, like Anna's, can open doors, change lives, and leave a legacy far greater than any title ever could. So ask yourself, in your own life, when no one is watching, will you act like Anna or like Mrs. Gray? The choice is yours. If this story made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and let us know in the comments, which path will you choose?